Welcome to the Your Fitness Chick podcast. Become your best self. I'm your host, Abby Smiley Krause. I am a personal trainer, a wellness enthusiast, and I'm not gonna lie, a certified dog-obsessed human. This isn't just another fitness podcast. It's your wake-up call to level up your life. In this podcast, I'll be diving into everything from crushing your workouts to shifting your mindset, because being your best self isn't just about lifting weights, it's about lifting your life. Whether you're here to get fit, find inspiration, or just stop settling for an average life, you're in the right place. We're talking about tapping into your full potential, expanding your horizons, and building a life so good, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. So let's lace up, show up, and start making things happen. This isn't just a podcast. It's your permission slip to dream big, work hard, and create the life you've always wanted. Join me here every Tuesday for a fresh episode. Let's get real for a second. Do you ever wake up and think, is this it? Like, you're not necessarily miserable, but you're not super excited about your life either. You're just kind of going through the motions. Maybe you have a career, a family, a routine, but deep down you feel like something's missing. I know this feeling because I've lived it. Welcome to the Your Fitness Chick podcast. I'm Abby, your no BS, tough love, slightly unfiltered guide to getting strong, confident, and finally calling yourself out on your own excuses. Now, before I dive into today's episode, let me set the record straight. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I am definitely not a therapist, but I should have a punch card for all the therapists I've been to. So I'm going to be sharing all the wisdom I've gained with you. So you're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. But what I actually am is someone who has been exactly where maybe some of you are right now. When I was 45, I hit the wall so hard, I felt like I had whiplash. I swear I just was miserable. I wasn't growing. I wasn't excited about my life. I wasn't waking up with that drive that I used to have, and I did not know how to fix it. And listen, I didn't just wake up one day and suddenly feel on fire about my life again. I didn't just roll out of bed and go, oh, wow, I'm so motivated. Let's go change the world. No, I had to rebuild myself step by step, decision by decision, habit by habit. And like many great things, it was triggered into action by a traumatic and painful sequence of events in my life. But that's for a whole nother day. But sometimes you do have to get to that spot, that feeling. You have to hit a painful place so deep that you know you absolutely cannot stay where you are. And I'm here to tell you, you don't find yourself, you build yourself. You don't just sit around waiting for inspiration to hit like a lightning bolt. You go out and create it. That's what I'm going to be talking about today, how to stop waiting, stop wishing, and start building the life that you actually want. Not a life that feels like it's happening to you, but a life you're fully in control of. So let's talk about why so many of us feel stuck, overwhelmed, or just straight up exhausted in midlife. First of all, life, it's hard. It's real hard. It's super hard. So I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We're juggling careers, families, relationships, finances. We have responsibilities coming out of our ears. We're comparing ourselves to strangers on the internet who seem to have it all figured out. And at the same time, we're battling this inner dialogue of self-doubt. And social media, forget about it. It's like a 24/7 highlight reel designed to make you feel like you're not doing enough. You see people on vacations, running marathons, building businesses. And meanwhile, you're over here trying to remember if you fed the dogs today or if you pulled the chicken out of the freezer for dinner tonight. Does this sound familiar? It's overwhelming. It's exhausting. And the worst part of it all is we start to judge ourselves through the comparison.
We start thinking, why don't I feel as excited about my life as they are? Why are they so ahead of me? Why do I feel so stuck? Here's the kicker. We think it's just us. You think it's just you. We think everyone else has it all figured out. But let me tell you something. Most people, most people are struggling with the exact same feelings. They just don't talk about it. But I'm going to, because I'm here to shake you awake and get you to put yourself into action to get busy building the life you want. You might be wondering, why is a fitness chick talking about finding your fire and being all philosophical? I'm going to tell you, because for me, fitness was the foundation for reigniting my fire. It wasn't just about losing weight or getting in shape, it was about rebuilding myself from the inside out. And I need you to hear this. When you feel completely lost, when you don't have any idea where to start, when you're stuck in a fog of self doubt, fitness is one of the fastest ways to reset your mind and body. Now, I'm not saying that lifting weights will instantly solve all your problems. I'm saying that movement, any kind of movement, triggers a chemical shift in your brain that makes everything else start to line up and get a little bit easier. So I'm going to get a little bit nerdy for a second, and we're going to talk about brain chemistry, because this isn't just motivational fluff. This is backed by science. So when you exercise and put your life into fitness mode, you're increasing dopamine and serotonin levels. And when you're depressed, or if you're suffering from burnout, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling lost, this is often linked to low dopamine and serotonin levels, the brain chemicals that regulate motivation, happiness, and energy. So when you exercise, you're naturally boosting both of these chemicals. It literally rewires your brain to feel more motivated, focused, and energetic. Think about it. Have you ever left the gym and thought, wow, I feel a lot worse now? Probably not. That's because movement gives your brain an instant biochemical upgrade. Also, when you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed and constantly comparing yourself on a consistent basis, this spikes your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. This is keeping your body in a chronic state of stress, a cycle of self doubt and stress. So, fitness is going to burn off the excess cortisol, meaning your mind isn't constantly in that fight or flight mode. This is why so many people feel mentally lighter after a workout. It's not just in your head, it's science. Also, when you push yourself through a tough workout, your brain learns to push through discomfort. That carries over into every other area of your life. Because if you can get through a tough rep, a tough set, a tough exercise, you can get through one more tough day. This is why fitness is a gateway to self-discipline. It teaches you that your mind quits before your body does. And that's a lesson you can apply everywhere. Your brain is wired to seek patterns. It begs for them. It loves them. It loves routine. The more you move, the more your brain expects movement. The more you challenge yourself, the more your brain expects you to rise to challenges. This is why starting small, even a simple 10-minute walk after dinner, can set off a domino effect. It teaches your brain, hey, we're the kind of person who takes action. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a bodybuilder or sign up to run a marathon. I'm saying that fitness is going to give you a mental edge to take control of your life like nothing else, nothing that money can buy. Because when you're moving, you think clearer, you handle stress better, you feel more capable, you feel more confident. You start proving to yourself that you can do hard things. So if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling lost, you're needing some fire back in your life, or you're not sure where to start with movement. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just one action that gets your body going. Dancing in your kitchen, doing squats while you're brushing your teeth, whatever it is, get moving. Because when your body moves, your brain follows. You hear that mind body connection thing all the time. It's real. And if you don't believe me, try it for 1 week, just 1 week. Commit to moving every single day, even if it's just stretching or walking. And I promise you, by the end of the week, you'll feel a shift. This is why your fitness chick is talking about this, because fitness isn't just about looking good. It's about unlocking the mindset and the discipline you need to create a life you're actually excited to wake up to. It's sometimes like we have to reverse engineer. So fitness, turn to it. Now, I know this might make me sound like I'm this little firecracker that bolts out of bed each day. But let me tell you, I was definitely not always the person sitting here talking to you with this fire in my belly. In fact, let's rewind about 5 years ago. There was a time when my daily routine looked like this. Now, remember, 5 years ago was COVID, right? I would wake up exhausted, even though I did nothing the day before. I would sit on the couch and binge watch Law and Order SVU like I was a detective preparing for trial. I would order Uber Eats, and no, it was not salads and chicken. It was crap. And I would eat until I felt sick, take a nap, and then wonder why I had no energy. Repeat. And the worst part, I knew I wasn't happy. I knew I wasn't living up to my potential, and it was this vicious cycle. I just couldn't get out of my own way. I was severely depressed, and I just didn't know how to fix it. But I decided that sitting still was not going to do anything for me, and so I just had to start. I started with a series of small, uncomfortable decisions that slowly built me back up. I started moving my body again. I haven't always been into fitness. I go in and out just like everybody else. So I had been off the wagon for a while. So I started exercising again, not to lose weight, not to get fit, but to wake myself up, to get myself actually out of the house because I wasn't even leaving. I stopped numbing myself with distractions. I surrounded myself with energy giving people and I cut off the ones that were sucking the life out of me. I changed what I consumed. Instead of watching the news, which is garbage, I started feeding my mind with books, positivity, podcast, inspiring conversations, because I realized if you're not feeding your mind, you're starving it. So I also started setting goals and making plans to achieve those goals, small actionable steps. It wasn't about finding some magical aha moment. It was just about taking action, even when I didn't feel like it and when I really wasn't quite sure where I was going. So if you're sitting here thinking, okay, great, but how do I actually do this? Let's break it down. So the first thing is move. Move first. Motivation follows. Waiting to feel motivated is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. Motivation comes after movement. Move first, and your brain will catch up. Number two, find your formula. Not everyone gets fired up in the same way. Some people need music. Some people need movement. Some people need creativity. Some need nature. Find what energizes you and do more of it. Number three, set a challenge. When was the last time you challenged yourself? I'm not talking about going to the gym. I mean, doing something that scares you a little. Growth comes from discomfort. I do something that scares me a little bit every single day. Number four, change your inputs. Stop scrolling so much. Stop consuming junk food every single day that makes you feel like crap. Start putting better things into your brain. Books, your Fitness Chick podcast, and conversations that challenge you. So I want you to write down 5 things that make you feel alive and get you super excited. Now schedule at least one into your day every single day. So as I start to wrap up this episode, I need you to just stop for a second and ask yourself something. Do you realize how incredible it is that you are even here on this earth? Do you know how rare, how miraculous, how completely wild it is that out of every possibility in the universe, you exist in this moment right now, listening to this. We spend so much time worrying about what we don't have, what we haven't done, or what's wrong with our lives that we forget the simple truth. You are alive, and that is a gift. Somewhere today, someone is burying the person they love the most in this world. Somewhere today, someone's entire life has just been turned upside down. Somewhere today, someone would give anything to have one more day with the people they've lost. And here you are with a chance to get up, a chance to show up, a chance to create, a chance to love, a chance to live fully and unapologetically. You're sitting here thinking about your past, your mistakes, what you should have achieved by now, what you should have done by now, how much money you should have in your savings account by now, comparing yourself to other people on social media who don't even exist. And if they do know you exist, they don't give a shit. I promise you. So, meanwhile, while you're thinking and worrying about all this senseless stuff, your entire life is waiting for you to stop looking backward and start building forward. Because listen to me, there's still time. If you are waking up in the morning, if you are breathing, if your heart is still beating inside your chest, there is still time. Time to change, time to grow, and time to become the person you know you're capable of being. And I need you to hear this because so many people waste their entire lives waiting for the right moment to start. There's never going to be a right moment. There's only right now. I spent too many years waiting. I waited to feel motivated. I waited for the right opportunity. I waited until I felt ready. And do you know what waiting got me? Nothing. Nothing but lost time, self-doubt, and a little bit of regret. So if you've been waiting for a sign, let this be it. You are capable of more. You are not too old. You are not behind. You are not broken. Your past, it's done. It's over. It has nothing to do with what you decide to do next. So what will you do next? Will you wake up tomorrow and go through the motions just existing? Or will you wake up and decide that today is the day everything changes? You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take that first one. So make a decision right now. Before you hit pause on this episode, I want you to make a promise to yourself. What is one thing that you're going to change? What is one thing that you're going to do to help find your zest back, put your fire back in your life? One thing, big or small. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's just drinking more freaking water. Maybe it's signing up to take that business class. Maybe it's starting that business. Maybe it's finally signing up for that gym membership. Maybe it's cutting those negative people out of your life that you know you should have a long ass time ago who drain you. Maybe it's believing in yourself just 1% more than you did yesterday, because small steps lead to momentum. Momentum leads to confidence, and confidence leads to a completely different life. So I could tell you all the typical things that I usually do at the end of this episode, which is like, share, subscribe, all that good mumbo jumbo, but I'm going to skip that today because that's not what I want you to do. I want you to do something bigger. I want you to make a move that changes your life today. If this episode hit home, don't just save it and move on. Act on it. Don't tuck it away like all those pictures that you screenshot on your phone and then forget about. It's time to move. Send this to someone who needs to hear this. Direct message me and tell me what you're committing to. I would love to cheer you on. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it real, because this moment right here, this could be the moment your entire life changes if you decide to make it so. Your best years, they're still ahead of you. Your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, and start living like you mean it. You've got one shot at this life. Make it count.
Hey, it's Abby, your fitness chick. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Your support means the world to me and allows me to keep creating inspiring content just like this. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so we can stay connected and motivated all week long. You can find me on all my social media platforms. Links are in the show notes, and be sure to visit my website at www.yourfitnesschick.com for more resources to help you crush your goals. A huge thank you to you, my listeners. You inspire me every single day. I'll catch you in the next episode.